Hello, my name is Dave. Welcome back to Motogadget Garage. As I said in my last video, I just wanted to run through some of the basics that you're going to need for going through some of this Motogadget wiring. It's it's not an exact science, but these are some of the basics that you will need for working on this stuff. So first off, tools, a little multimeter, just so you can somewhat see the electricity. A reasonably good set of wire crimps. Mainly these ones are for stripping wires. Which is, it just makes your life easier. You can just cut it with a blade, but this is a much quicker and a better job. I have various wire crimping tools. This one is very specific. This is for wire ferrules, which I will discuss in a moment. Quite important with the Motogadget stuff that you do need these. Connectors. In my experience of what I've used, I like to use these rubber-back connectors. You buy them in kits. Allows for you to make a good quality joint. You can buy them pre-wired. In my case, I tend to buy them in these kits. Cost you about 20 quid for this amount, and you get them in many different, a single pin, a 2-pin, 3-pin, 4-pin, and this is what I will be using to make all my connectors that I need to be able to undo and do up. It's very important to make everything removable. You don't want to ever hardwire anything in to then find out later you need to take it out and you've soldered the thing in. Secondly, about making the wiring stay safe, get yourself some inline fuse holders. This is I think the wire on this, I think it's up to 16 amp, and I also have the 30 amp ones for when it needs to be a little bit more robust, which I suppose brings me on to wire. Motogadget do a kit that you can buy of several different colours. I'm not sure, I think it's about 100 quid, maybe a bit under. Very nice quality, but it's 16, it's either 16 amp or 15 amp. Just for context, each one of these ports on here are only rated for 15 amp anyway, so you can't put any more than that through them. My little hack from this was I bought all this 17 different colours in, I believe, 2-meter lengths off eBay for, I believe it was £19. £19 for I think it was 50 meters or something like that. And you can choose the colours. In my case, I just asked for all the colours in 2-meter lengths. And they just cut it up, supplied it to me, and like I say, that was less than 20 quid. So a good way to do it. Just make sure that it's capable of at least 15-16 amps. That there is a 16 amp, so more than adequate. After, obviously, whilst you're doing all this, we need to make the wiring tidy. We need to You know, we don't want it, you know, stuff like, well, we don't want it looking like this, right? You know, so what I tend to use, um, just briefly, here we have your typical 3M electrical tape, you know, PVC, stretchy, black, which personally I hate. This is for in your house. This is for electrical stuff in your house, in my opinion. This is not what you want to use on your bike. It's a nightmare if you've got to take it off. It goes disgusting with time, gummy, and it's not really fit for purpose. So don't use this. It's up to you, but don't use it. My go-to for tidying up wiring when you're bundling it together, I use a few things. Number one is this stuff, which is called Tessa tape. You see in there it says Tessa. It's like a fabric based stretchy tape. This stuff is great, mainly because it's easy to peel off, right? And this is the kind of tape and the kind of brand that that they use on motorcycles from the factory. So this Tessa stuff you'll find, you know, on like a Ducati or something like that. This is what they use. This is the stuff. Also, I use this, which is it's like a braided sleeve which can stretch. Okay, now when you want to use this is you know, if it's going through, number one, it looks pretty, as long as you have the wires covered on the inside so the colours don't show through. So you know, this stuff it looks good, and you can use it in areas where you're going to expect a bit of chafing. So in my case, because I'm going to be running the wiring through the handlebars, I'm going to use some, I believe it's 4mm, I think it is. This stuff, it all comes vacuum packed, so it looks tiny. I think that's the 4mm stuff, but sort of when you undo the pack, it expands. And this helps to prevent wire chafing and stuff like that. So I rate this stuff again. This is all off of eBay, and you can buy it, you know, it's a small amount of money, you know, a few pounds for a couple of meters, which you know you're going to put this in your toolbox and have loads to use later. So good stuff to get. Again, what I like to use is heat shrink. You know, if you've got the end of some wires and such, this is just a selection from a well-known high street auto parts shop. I won't mention the name, but it was quite expensive, but you know, it is how it is. And for those of you that don't know what heat shrink is, it's a simple product that you know, you slide it onto your wire like so, okay, and then you apply some heat, which also very handy when you're doing all this if you have a heat gun. So if you apply a little bit of heat, then what that will do, as the name suggests, is it just shrinks the heat shrink to the wires, right? So you know, this just makes for a nice tidy job. And as you can see, that is now moulded to the shape of your green wire, which you know, it looks good, but you don't want to pile this stuff up too much, because otherwise it'll look like a sock swallowing a snake, you know, and it looks awful. Coincidentally, sort of when you're using this stuff, you can see how you have those frayed ends. You can burn the frayed ends, right, with a lighter or something, and then apply a piece of heat shrink, and it makes for a very tidy job. What do we want to look at next? So next I want to talk about these little ferrule things. These are quite important when you're working on Motogadget stuff, in my opinion. I'll just show you one there. So it's this guy. So not in focus at all, is it? But it's basically a small metal tube with a little black insulator on the back. I will show you why these are important, because what they do is, on your Motogadget, all these little ports that you have, you essentially place the wire into them. So arguably you would get your wire cutters, and you can snip a little bit of insulation off, like so. Then you press down on these, so these little orange tabs press in. So you can press down on your little orange tab and feed in your wire. As you can see, it's a connection. But the problem with this is, if I can get it back out, is that you're pressing down on several pieces of copper, right? So it's not a very good connection, and over time they can degrade and snap. So the idea is we just twist this up into a nice little tidy little bundle, and then we insert it into the ferrule like so. Okay, so now what you have is you have your copper wires in the tube, and then going back to the specialist little crimpers that I was talking about earlier that look like this. Okay, you then insert this into the crimpers and a quick little squeeze, and out it comes, and what you end up with is this. Okay, so you've got a nice little crimp on there, and this will not come off, right? That is on there. Okay, and now when you put that into your Motogadget port, you now have a nice tidy strong connection which is insulated, and that is in there, and you're not squashing the single strands of copper. It's easy to get out, and as you can see, it is as it was when I put it in. Yeah, so no problems at all. And that is a basic sum up of the tools and kits and you know, the equipment that I will be using whilst I'm doing all this kind of stuff. The ferrule kit with this included was about 20 quid. The weather pack connectors, I believe also they're called Tyco connectors, don't quote me on that, but that's what I think they're called, also came with this, again about 20 quid. Clearly China tools, but in this case they didn't, you know, I bought these from a popular online auction site. Obviously a seller that had bought them in from China, right? So they came quick, but you know, so far, you know, pretty cheap. So in total, this is probably, by the time you take into account the tape, the braided line, the tools, the crimps, the connectors, and the wire, the actual wire I bought, I'm probably into the extras for about £100, give or take. Which, when you think that the basic Motogadget wiring kit, don't quote me, I would have to check. I don't think it's much more than that. I mean, much less than that. So, you know, it's just a little way of saving up, saving your money and buying the important things. But that is basically what I'm going to be using as regards to sundries and tools for getting this prettied up and connected. In the next video I'll be starting to address the other the items, the Motogadget, the M button, and the devices which I'm going to be connecting. I'm going to be showing you how I connect them in a temporary way, and then obviously when we build the loom, I'll be showing you how I do them in a more professional, amateur, but you know, a more professional looking way, to make it look all tidy. And I'm not going to say factory. For those that know factory and beef, I'm not going to say factory, but because it isn't factory, but to get a nice quality look. So we'll be addressing that in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you later.